two separate videos, so it's not as long. But as you can see, we have our fully primed wing. I let it dry overnight. It was really moisture. It was really humid yesterday, so I wanted to make sure it fully dried. But we're going to hit it with some 1500 grit wet sandpaper and get it ready for paint. I bought a new can of Malugo Rot Red yesterday from AJ Foyt. I'll be painting this wing, and I decided to pull off the rear window spoiler and repaint it as well. It had got some trash in it when I first sprayed it, and I sprayed it overnight for a car show the next day and literally just painted it, slapped it on. I hadn't actually taken the time to actually go back and fix it. So it's currently outside, primed and drying. So we'll be painting all of this at the same time. Since I have one can, might as well use it to paint as much stuff. I'm gonna do some touch-up work on the front bumper, also with the paint, and I'll walk you guys through the steps of that. But let's get wet sanding. Got your soap and water, 1500 grit, and I got a towel to wipe everything down. So let's get to sanding. And on this, just a light sanding will do. You don't need to cut down too far. You just want to smooth out the primer. If it has any orange peel, you don't want to burn through the edges, so stay on the flat areas. Your edges will burn through real quick with sandpaper, and we don't want that for the for paint. You want to have one uniform color here. And as you're going along, as I do, I just rub my hand across it, and you can kind of feel if there's any imperfections in the paint or any areas that are slightly rougher than others. But prep, as I said before, is 99% of painting. If I have any imperfections or any rough patches, orange peel, anything in this area, this will show in the paint. You can do some corrections at the end after you paint, after clear coat, but anything really is going to show in your paint at this point. So just take care in sanding. Lightly sand everything, just enough to knock it all down and give the paint something to adhere to. Also, those minor scratches and stuff in the primer help the paint bite to the paint underneath. So just a light sanding here, and once this is done, I'll let this dry, and we'll wipe this down, and we'll finish priming the other wing and get everything ready for paint. I'm hoping to be able to lay paint today. We will see. It rained a little bit this morning, and I don't like to paint when it's really humid outside because it makes the paint not adhere well, and you can get fish eyes because of the moisture, all that kind of stuff. So just when when you're painting outside like I do, that's stuff you have to kind of take into account. If you paint inside a booth that is climate controlled, etc., you don't have to worry about any of this. But because most of you do not have a paint booth, neither do I, and definitely not climate controlled, that we'll be all painting outside. So now that that's sanded in with 1500 grit, we can take a look at it and see if there's anything in the paint that pops out at you or catches your eye as an area that needs to be addressed. And this is the time to address it. And if there is anything and you sand down past the primer, just prep it, sand it down smooth, and hit it with some more primer to cover up that. We want an even coat of primer all the way around so that when you paint, the wing comes out looking right. So let me go grab the wing from outside and see how that primer. Oh, unfortunately, guys, it started raining again outside. So, since no paint booth, I'm going to have to hold off on painting all of this till hopefully tomorrow after work. But for you guys, it'll be instantaneously. So, let's get to painting. To not rain, just a slight little sprinkle, which doesn't put us behind schedule and doesn't make the air too moist to paint. So I decided to go ahead and get everything ready for paint. As you can see, I have this wing down here, which is the roof spoiler. I have it ready to go primered. Same with this wing here, the one that we've been working on. So I will be spraying both of those where they currently are with the red paint, but I'm going to spray them both at the same time. They're both prepped, they're both wet sanded, ready to go. And let me grab the paint over here. This is the paint I grabbed. Let's see, the sun's killing me. The 2K in Malugo Rock. This is the two-can system where you punch out the bottom and it mixes the clear and hardener into it, and you have about 14 hours working time once you hit it. So pull the bottom, spin it, and then shake it out. I live on the freeway, so it just kind of happens. We have our can shaken all the way up. It is ready to go. We're going to do a light coat on everything, a dusting, to lay down a good tacky base for all the rest of the coats to stick. So let's get to it. We've given this stuff 15 minutes roughly to dry, get a little bit tacky. We're going to put a second coat on, a little bit heavier than the first one, and do a full coverage coat so it'll be all red throughout. And then we'll wait another 15 minutes or so, spray the final coat, see how it lays down, and see how much paint we have left, and then we'll finish it up.